All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're excited to have you here. We really appreciate you taking the time to invest in your firm, your clients, and your own professional growth. I'm Jen Ingram from Forwardly, and we're thrilled to be hosting this session. So many accountants and firm owners are looking for clear, practical guidance on how to step confidently into advisory work without being overwhelmed. And that brings me to our guest today. So today we're joined by Adam Lean. He's a seasoned accountant, former business owner, industry educator who has helped thousands of accountants make the shift from compliance to true strategic partnership. Adam's known for simplifying the path to CFO Advisory, breaking it down to steps that make sense, feel doable, and fit into the real day-to-day of running a practice. So he has a unique ability. He can combine hands-on accounting experience with the real-world business insights and empower firms across the country to deepen client relationships. So we're honored to have him here. Adam, thank you so much for joining us today. I will hand it over to you to teach us how to become a CFO for small businesses.
Thank you so much, Jane. I really appreciate it. So yeah, this session is called How to Become a CFO to Small Businesses. Here's the thing though, most businesses are small. Like 99% of all businesses on earth are considered small. And they don't really need a CFO. They don't need a full-time CFO, but they need somebody to help them. And so traditionally, business owners have a couple of options to get help. They could turn to their accountant, the financial professional in their life that knows the numbers. They could turn to that person. They could turn to a business coach. They could turn to their employees. They could turn to friends or family or other people they know that own a business. But most businesses end up failing. I mean, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, half of all businesses fail before they reach their 5th birthday. Yet there's all this supposed help that business owners have to turn to. They can turn to their accountant, like we talked about, or their business coaches or friends or whatnot. But businesses still fail. So there's a major problem. Business owners, if you think about it, got into business in the first place because they are an expert at what they do. For example, a dentist starts a dental practice because they're a dentist. Somebody that owns a heating and air business probably started or bought that heating and air business because they had experience or expertise in heating and air. A chef starts a restaurant, a hairstylist starts a hair salon. You get the idea. So all of us, these experts, all of a sudden own a business. And that business is literally the thing that puts food on their family's table. So it has to work. It has to be successful. And so business owners are talked to that can tell them and guide them and show them on how to be a success. But we have a couple problems. One is that most business owners have no idea who to turn to for this kind of help. And when they do try to turn to somebody like an accountant or business coach or friend, they're not really getting the type of help that they need. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how to become a CFO to small businesses in a way that the business owner will actually find valuable, which means they'll pay you for this, but also in a way so that you as a financial professional can deliver it at scale, meaning that it's efficient. It doesn't take up a lot of your time, which means you can take on way more clients without having to work harder. So the reason why I even got into this in the first place is I used to be an accountant. I used to do accounting, and honestly, I didn't really care for it. I realized I was very entrepreneurial, so I started a business on the weekends and at night outside of my day job as an accountant, and that business grew. It grew well enough that I was able to leave my day job as an accountant and focus on this business. This business had nothing to do with accounting. It was an e-commerce retail store, and I ended up becoming the number one retailer in my niche, and my business was doing great revenue-wise. Not so great cash flow wise. Well, as an accountant, I knew enough to know that revenue doesn't matter as much as cash flow. Profits don't matter as much as cash flow. The only thing that really matters is that I was able to generate positive cash flow on a regular basis. That's the only thing that's going to keep my business in business. Well, I was struggling when it came to cash flow, especially generating positive cash flow, especially knowing how to generate positive cash flow. So I turned to the one person that I thought could help me, which was my accountant. I remember going to her office one day laying it out there and saying, I need your help, helping me figure out how to generate positive cash flow on a regular basis for my business. She didn't know how to help me. The entire meeting was a giant disappointment. And I realized after the fact that most accountants are rock stars when it comes to recording the past, like bookkeeping or tax prep, tax advisory. They were not rock stars in knowing what to do to keep a business cash flowing positive on a regular basis. They're not business strategists. So then I turned to who I thought was a business strategist, a business coach. So I reached out to this person and I met with her probably for about 6 months. What alarmed me was that the entire 6-month period, not once did she ask to look at my financials. It was kind of odd because, being a former financial person and knowing the fact that my business specifically, lived and died on a number, which was cash flow. She didn't even want to look at my numbers just because she wasn't a numbers person herself. She had some corporate job and took a weekend workshop to become a coach. And all of a sudden she was a business coach. She wasn't a financial person. She was focused on theoretical things that really didn't matter to my small business. So I figured if I was going to fix my business, I got to figure it out myself. So I remember sitting in my laundry room one day and I was looking at my washing machine and I was thinking, if that washing machine broke, then me or somebody who knew washing machines needed to take the back off and figure out the part or parts that was causing it to not do what it's supposed to do, which is to wash clothes, and then fix it. Also, the machine is doing what it's supposed to do. Get the machine getting back to doing what it's supposed to do, which is to wash clothes. Same thing with my business. My business is like a machine, and my machine's job is to do one thing: generate positive cash flow on a regular basis. That's it. So if my business isn't doing the one thing it's supposed to do, which is generate positive cash flow, then I need to take the back off the machine and figure out the part or parts that are the problem, fix it so the machine gets back to doing what it's supposed to do, and just do that every month. Well, that ended up becoming a game for me. Being a former financial professional, I really enjoyed this because the parts of a business machine are all metrics based. Think about it. The one North Star, the main thing required for my machine is to get it to produce positive cash flow on a regular basis. That's a metric. And like all metrics, there's drivers of every metric. So I need to figure out all the drivers of that metric. And in my business, there was thousands of drivers that drove cash flow. And my job was to figure out which drivers, the parts of the machine, were the problem every month. And then focus on fixing that problem. And then just keep doing that month after month after month. Also, the machine is doing what it's supposed to generate positive cash flow. So I ended up doing that over the next couple of years. I fixed my business, got my machine doing what it's supposed to do, generate positive cash flow, and ended up selling that business to one of my largest suppliers. Then I went to several business owners that I knew, and I said, would you like me to meet with you once a month and tell you exactly what you need to do each month to ensure your business generates positive cash flow on a regular basis? Every single person I talked to said yes, they wanted this service. Notice I didn't pitch it as a CFO service, but that kind of is what a CFO for a big business does, helps a business stay financially successful. Well, I was essentially pitching the same concept to small business owners. And they all said yes, because they wanted the end result. They wanted somebody that they trusted to tell them what to do to have a successful business, a financially successful business. And that's essentially what I was doing. Well, that morphed into essentially a CFO service. So fast forward several years, I've helped tons of business owners. And then myself and my business partner, Jeff, he had a very similar CFO firm. So we merged firms together and we thought, why don't we teach our methodologies to financial professionals so they could go out and do it with their clients? And so that is how this CFO project was born. So Jane, if you wouldn't mind sharing the screen. So that's how the CFO project was born. So in this class, I'm going to show you how you can become a CFO to small businesses and essentially do the same thing that I pitched many years ago to these business owners. You would go to a business owner, say, would you like my help to tell you what to do so that you never run out of cash, so that you are always generating positive cash flow on a regular basis. And if you can do it, if you can help a business owner generate positive cash flow, then you can charge on average $2,000 a month per client for this service. Think about it, $2,000 a month per client. So if you had 10 clients, you're earning 20 grand a month by offering this type of CFO service. Within a year and a half of me opening my CFO practice almost a decade ago, I had 17 clients within a year and a half. So this is in demand. We've trained thousands of people, and business owners crave somebody they can trust to tell them what to do. But again, they're not searching for a CFO. But when they meet you and you explain exactly how you'll help them, the chances of them wanting to hire you dramatically skyrocket. So let's talk about how to do all that. How do you become a CFO to small businesses? So I'm going to take a look. We're going to start off by taking a look at how to launch a CFO advisory practice from scratch or while employed. So this is for you if you're an employed accountant that would like to start some sort of business on the side offering CFO services that could possibly turn into a full-time job, or you could keep your day job and do this on the side. And then in just a few minutes, I'm going to take a look and we're going to look at how to add a CFO advisory service to an existing bookkeeping or accounting practice. So right now, we're going to talk about how to launch one from scratch. If you don't have an existing bookkeeping or accounting practice, here's how to launch a CFO advisory practice from scratch. The first thing you need to do, and this sounds incredibly obvious, but the first thing you need to do is get trained on offering what we call CFO advisory services. Now, the term CFO advisor is a term that we at the CFO Project created. We coined this term. And I'll explain exactly what a CFO advisory service entails in a second. But the reason why we use CFO advisor, those two words, is because a CFO's job is to help a business, regardless of the size of the business, the CFO's job is to help that business be financially successful. But because we are offering this service to small and medium-sized business owners, people whom we have no control over, we have to get good at advising them enough so that they'll take action on all the things they need to do to have a financially successful business. In other words, we can be the best CFO on the planet, but if we can't get a small business owner who doesn't understand numbers, nor accounting, nor financials, nor do we have control over them, if we can't get them to take our advice on all the things needed to have a financially successful business, then we'll fail. So we got to get trained on doing both of those things, being a good CFO and being a good advisor. And then once we get trained on those things, then you got to get trained on getting clients, because none of this matters unless you can get clients. And a client, an ideal client for this type of service, is a small business owner who owns a business generating between $500,000 and $5 million in annual revenue. Now, that's not a hard and fast rule. That's just an ideal target. Somebody that's doing that between $500,000 and $5 million in annual revenue. The reason why we say that you should target businesses doing north of 500,000 annual revenue is because those are businesses that are already established. They're not having to focus on generating sales or product market fit. And these are not brand new businesses. These are businesses that have already established a business where there's proven demand for what they're offering. And the business owner typically at this stage needs way more help. So you got to get trained on offering the service, and then you got to get trained on getting clients. And then we suggest you spend, because we know you have a day job as an accountant, we suggest you spend just 3 hours a week until you get your first CFO client. Once you get your first CFO client, then we suggest you spend 2 hours a week getting your second client, and then 1 hour a week until you get your third client. Now you have 3 clients, and if you charge the average that the person that we train at the CFO Project is charging per client, which is $2,000 a month, then that means you're earning $6,000 a month just from 3 clients. And that means your annual run rate is $72,000. If you're earning $6,000 a month consistently, then over a 12-month period, you're on track to earn $72,000. Now, This means that you have 3 clients, and if you spend just 4 hours per month per client, that means you're spending 12 hours a month to earn the 72 grand per year. So how do you only spend 4 hours per month per client by offering a CFO service? Well, the answer lies in offering what we call a productized CFO service. This means that you're delivering the CFO service like a product instead of a customized service, which is what's commonly known as fractional CFO services. So the big difference between a productized CFO service and a fractional CFO service. Fractional CFO service means that you're taking on a job, and you're creating a very customized engagement for every one of your clients that you take on a job for. So if you have 5 clients, 5 fractional CFO clients, you have 5 part-time jobs, and you're doing something very different in each job. If you have 5 part-time jobs, you remain in what we call the accountant's trap, where you're just still trading time for money. Instead, we suggest that you offer a productized CFO service. You still sell it like a service because it is a service, in which services are just inherently more valuable, but you're delivering it like a product, meaning when a manufacturer develops a new product once, like I have my iPhone here, when Apple created this iPhone, they created it once and they just manufacture the same thing over and over and over. It's exactly how we need to think of CFO services. We created a system once, which of course we train you on the system. We give you the system in the CFO project. But you deliver the same system over and over and over to all your clients. And it takes 4 hours per month per client. And we didn't make those numbers up. We survey the people that we train on a regular basis. And the latest survey says that they're spending a little under 4 hours per month per client. And they're earning, on average, $2,000 a month, $1,978 to be exact. So around $2,000 a month. So if you could deliver a service that takes 4 hours per month and you have 3 clients, you're only spending 12 hours a month. 12 hours to make 72 grand a year. All right, so that's if you are starting a CFO practice from scratch. Let's talk about if you have an existing tax or bookkeeping practice, how do you add a new revenue stream offering CFO services? Well, the first thing you need to do is the same thing we just talked about. You got to get trained on providing or offering a CFO advisory service. And then, of course, you got to get trained on getting clients. And once you're trained on getting clients, then you can start getting clients. And we suggest that you first upsell your existing tax or bookkeeping clients. This is the lowest hanging fruit because these people already trust you. If they're already your clients and you come to them and say, oh, look, I've been working on your taxes, or I've been doing your books for a while, and I've spotted some opportunities I see for growth, and I see some red flags that are preventing your business from making money. Can we talk? Who's going to say no to that? Of course, they're not going to say no to that because their business has to work. And then you can upsell your existing tax or bookkeeping clients to a CFO service where your job is to help them have a successful future, not just record the past. Then we suggest you go out and promote, while you're promoting your existing tax or bookkeeping services to the world. Every time you take on a new tax or bookkeeping client, we suggest you only take them on if they are also agreeing to buy your CFO service. Now you're taking on clients that have a much higher ticket value. They're paying way more than the other clients who are just paying for your tax or bookkeeping services. Then we suggest that you stop promoting your tax and bookkeeping services and only promote to the world your CFO services. And now, every time you get a new CFO client, you can upsell them to tax or bookkeeping if you wish. You don't have to. So if you do this, the average accounting or bookkeeping firm should be able to get 8 clients within a relatively short period of time. 8 clients. And if you're charging $2 grand a month, which is the average of the CFO project students that we train are charging, then that means you're earning 16 grand a month. So 16 grand a month times 12, that means your annual revenue run rate is 192,000. So now you have a whole new revenue stream where you're added almost $200,000 of revenue to your practice. The best part is it doesn't take that much time to service because you're offering a productized CFO service. You have 8 clients, 4 hours a month, 32 hours a month is how much you're working to make that $200,000. 32 hours a month to make $192,000. And just to point out, this is 32 hours a month, not a week. All right, so by offering a CFO service, you can differentiate your existing tax or bookkeeping practice from all the competition that's out there. We know there's a ton of competition for tax and bookkeeping work. You can differentiate your practice from all the other competition and market yourself as a tax plus business advisor or a bookkeeper plus business advisor. In other words, you could say, instead of just doing your taxes and looking at the past, my real value is helping you have a successful future to ensure your business never fails, so that you can have more money and you can expand and grow and sleep better at night and finally enjoy your business again. And by the way, I'll still make sure your taxes or books are recorded properly. This is powerful. So you could essentially become a one-stop shop for your clients. You could delegate the lower value tax or bookkeeping work to someone else on your team, or outsource or white label this service altogether. Or you could say, I don't want to do taxes or books ever again, and only offer CFO services. So basically, you could differentiate your practice from the competition and only offer CFO services. And to do that, all you have to do is sell off or partner or co-firm with another firm to provide the tax or bookkeeping work to your clients. And then you would essentially become a highly sought after CFO advisor. You have options. Okay. And by the way, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat, and I will answer them, or somebody on our team will answer them of this training. All right, so let's get on the same page and talk about exactly what a CFO advisory service is. A CFO advisory service is where a financial professional meets with a business owner each month and guides them towards a successful business. That's it. That's what a CFO advisory service is. It's a meeting. And in that meeting, you're guiding the client towards having a successful business. Now, we've got to quantify what successful means. So a successful business is one that's able to create money. So in other words, in our world, being financial professionals, a business able to create money means that the business is able to generate positive cash flow on a regular basis. But there's another definition of success that we've got to pay attention to, and that's however the client defines success. Every business owner on earth has their own version of success. And we got to ensure that we hit our client's definition of success. But I can assure you that if you're able to generate positive cash flow on a regular basis for your client's business, it will 100% of the time help your client hit their definition of success. Now, as I mentioned earlier, a CFO advisor is part CFO and part advisor. A CFO's job is to ensure a business is financially successful. Whether you're the CFO for Microsoft or the CFO for Paul's Heating and Air Company down the street. But an advisor's job is to get a client to take action. We must get good at doing both of these things to become a successful CFO advisor. We can't just have all the answers. We have to be able to have the answers and also communicate them in a way that gets the client to take action, because in order for their business to improve on our advice, they've got to go and do something. So if we give them all this advice, they don't go out and do anything with it, and their business is never going to improve, and therefore we will fail. So we got to get good at doing both of these things. So here's how it works for each client. Everything revolves around a meeting. We call it the monthly CFO advisory meeting. Now, of course, you're going to need a prep for this meeting, and you're going to need to earmark some time to check in with your client or answer any questions they have throughout the month. The monthly CFO advisory meeting takes about an hour a month. Prepping takes about 2 hours a month, and then earmarking, we suggest you earmark an hour per month per client. Notice this is 4 hours worth of work per client. So if you had 8 clients, you're spending about 2 hours a week in monthly meetings, 4 hours a week prepping, and 2 hours a week checking in with your client. So you have 8 hours a week that you're working. You could do it all yourself, You could delegate parts of it to your team, or you could have your team do all of it because you're now operating using systems, a productized CFO advisory system. So what do you do in this meeting? Well, we suggest you give your client 2 deliverables. The first deliverable is what we call a scoreboard. Instead of showing your clients complicated financials, they're not complicated to us, but we are a vast minority of people on earth, accountants, who, and we understand financials. Most people don't. So we've got to give our clients an unambiguous way to understand what's going on in their business. Plus, we've got to include metrics that don't live on the financials. For example, we know that the P&L starts with revenue, but what about all the drivers? And there's hundreds of drivers in every business that drive revenue. Things like leads and purchase frequency rate, retention rate, conversion rate, average transaction value. These things don't live in the accounting records because they're not accounting metrics, yet they have a lot to do with the success of the business generating positive cash flow. So all I have to say is we need a simple way to show our clients what's working and what's not based on the most important drivers of cash flow that we want them to focus on. So we suggest you put all that on what we call a scoreboard. It's just a simple color-coded report designed to help a non-financial business owner understand what's working and what's not working in their business. Then the second thing we suggest you give them is an action plan. So you're taking everything that's in red or yellow on the scoreboard and saying, here's what I want you to do about it this month. I want you to do these 3 things or 6 things or 1 thing this month. And the action plan needs to be organized in such a way that the client knows exactly what they're going to do every month after they get off the call with you. Our job is to guide in this meeting, not do. We're not doing the action plan on behalf of the client. We're giving them an action plan. They are doing it. And we know if they've accomplished it or not because something on the scoreboard should turn green or yellow the next month. This is why it takes only 4 hours per month. We're guiding. We're not doing. But what business owners want at the end of the day is someone just to give them a plan and then guide them to accomplish it. That's what they want. All so that they'll have a successful business, one that's able to create money and accomplishes the client's definition of success. Now, you may be thinking, all right, I'm just simply not sure if I'm qualified to be a CFO. Well, the good news is I'm not suggesting that you could take our training or any other training and become Microsoft CFO tomorrow. But I am suggesting that you could take our training and become qualified to be a CFO for a small business tomorrow. Why? Because there's really one qualification for becoming a CFO advisor to a small business. And that qualification is if you're able to guide a business owner towards generating positive cash flow on a regular basis, then you're qualified. So once you're actually able to guide a business owner and you have tangible proof that you've guided a business owner towards generating positive cash flow, you're qualified to be a CFO advisor to a small business. So to do that, you need 3 things. 1, you need a system for actually getting clients in the first place to guide them. Clients that where you'll end up guiding them. They'll pay you on average $2,000 a month. You need a system for providing a CFO service that gets results. And you need hands-on mentorship from CFO mentors, real people who will guide you as you're guiding clients. You need access to tools and playbooks to help you get results, meaning get clients and make money in this profession and keep clients. And you need to be in community with other financial professionals, other people doing the same thing for accountability, encouragement, and support. Spoiler, we do all 3 of these things at the CFO Project. All right. Real quick, I do want to cover some suggested do's and don't do's when it comes to getting CFO clients. The first thing that we suggest you do not do when getting CFO clients is marketing CFO services. Why? Because business owners, as I mentioned at the very beginning of this class, business owners are not searching for CFO services. When a business owner hears chief financial officer, they think one of 2 things. They think either expensive accountant, or they think my small business doesn't need a CFO. I'm not Microsoft. So we can't market CFO services because there's no context as to what a CFO is. Also, we should not sell features. We can't go out to the world and say, well, I'll do ratio analysis for you. I'll do forecasting. I'll do business modeling. I'll do budgeting. They don't care. But most business owners who are experts at the craft of their business and are not experts at financials or accounting or business in general, they do not understand how these features, even though they may be important, they do not understand how these features will help them get what they want. So it's not going to resonate. Also, traditional marketing, going out paying for ads, CFO services or creating complicated websites and all that just doesn't work. The idea that if you want to make more money, the wrong way to think about it is, well, if I'm going to make more money, I need more clients. Also, we need to stop competing on price. Business owners, if you pitch this service, your CFO service, in a way, in the right way, a business owner will not think about price. Think about this. If you went to a $4 million construction company owner in Boise, Idaho, and pitch this service the right way, essentially you're saying, I will help you have a successful business. In their minds, they're thinking, I own a $4 million practice, and all of a sudden this person's coming and charging me $2,000 a month, which is 24 grand a year, and they're promising that I'm going to make more money. I'm going to have a better business. I'll be able to sleep better at night. Have somebody to turn to make financial decisions, and I'll finally enjoy my business again. 24 grand, that's a drop in the bucket on a $4 million business. They're likely paying low-skilled laborers way more than 24 grand a year to do jobs that are less important than what you're telling them that you'll do. It's a no-brainer. They're not competing. So you should not compete on price. And we should stop competing on commoditized services. Basically, any accountant that's going out into the world that's saying, I could do taxes better, faster, cheaper than the next person, that's falling on deaf ears. Why? Because everybody says the same thing. So what should you do instead? We suggest when it comes to selling CFO services that you market the end result. You wouldn't say this necessarily, but the message you should be communicating is you hire me to help you have a successful business. That's why you're hiring me. 2, we need to sell benefits. We need to sell things like you will have a peace of mind by working with me. You will never fail. You'll make more money from your business. You'll enjoy your business again. Those are things that resonate with business owners, not, well, I'll do ratio analysis for you. It's a night and day difference. Relationship marketing works because business owners will hire you to help them accomplish the end result, essentially them having a successful business, if they know, like, and trust you. And this works getting clients locally and online. Also, what works is if you want to make more money, you need to think, I need less clients that pay me more. This is not a quantity business, it's a quality business. In other words, we don't need that many clients to make a lot of money. I mean, think about it. If you charge $2,000 a month, you just need 10 clients to make 20 grand a month, 240,000 a year. Just 10 clients. So we're not going after the masses. We're going after 10 people. Also, we need to stop competing on price and stop competing on commoditized services. All right, so to boil it down, if you had a valuable service, a service where you're able to demonstrate to a business owner that you're going to help them do the one thing that is needed for them to survive, and not only to survive, but to grow their business, which is positive cash flow, you will have a valuable service, way more valuable than tax or bookkeeping. And if you have a more valuable service, then you'll have way more impact on your clients' lives, which means you'll have higher paying clients. And if you have higher paying clients, you'll have less stress, less hours worked because you're offering a productized CFO service, and you'll have just better clients, which means you'll have a better work-life balance. And if you have a better work-life balance, you'll just simply have a better life. So here's an example. If you had 8 CFO clients at $2,000 a month, you're earning 16 grand a month while working less than 20 hours a week, which means you're earning $192,000 a year. And if you're earning $192,000 a year, you have freedom. freedom of control of your time and how much you make. You have confidence knowing that you have a service that is in high demand and you can charge a lot for it. And you have stability because you're earning the 16 grand every single month. And if you have freedom, confidence, and stability, you have a better life for yourself and you'll make way more impact. Because let's face it, you can be the best tax accountant in the world and your client could still fail next year. You can record the books the best. You could have the cleanest books for your client and timely. And your client still fails next year. So you have way more impact on your clients' lives. All right, so as we start to wrap up, here's your takeaways. It's a fact that most businesses fail. In fact, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, and this applies pretty much across the globe, 20% of businesses fail within their first year, 35% within their second, and 50% within their fifth year. Think about it. Half, 1 out of every 2 businesses are gone by their 5th birthday. All that time, energy, and money the business owners poured into their business, gone. All the hopes and dreams the owner had are dashed, and all the owner's left with is a ton of debt, a ton of regret, and the realization they must go back and get a job. Business owners do not want this. This is the worst case scenario. So as you can see, business owners are begging for someone that they trust to tell them what to do to have a successful business. And if you could be this person, you'll be able to launch a CFO advisory practice from scratch or add a CFO revenue stream to your existing tax or bookkeeping practice. But in order to provide a CFO service that gets results, you must have 3 things. 1, you must have a system, a way, a process for getting clients who will pay you $2,000 on average. You also must have a system for providing a CFO service that gets results for your clients, meaning it actually helps them generate positive cash flow so you can keep your clients. But you also need mentorship. You need somebody that you could turn to for help as you're building and growing and scaling a CFO service. You need access to tools and playbooks, proven tools and proven step-by-step playbooks to help you get results. And you need to be in community with other financial professionals. I mean, you need to be surrounded by other people doing the same thing so you can all help each other. So we provide all 3 of these things at the CFO Project. That's what we do. The CFO Project turns accountants and bookkeepers into high-earning CFOs for small businesses, period. So we'll help you launch a CFO advisory practice or add a CFO advisory service to your existing practice with our step-by-step mentorship program so you could have a better life and make more of an impact. So if you're interested, we have an exclusive Done With You mentorship program just for financial professionals where we'll provide 3 main things. The first thing we'll provide to you is a system for getting clients who will pay you $2,000 a month on average. Also, you'll get a system, a turnkey system, to provide a CFO service to every single one of your clients. And you'll get step-by-step mentorship, tools, playbooks, and a vibrant community and more to ensure you get results. So we call it the CFO Project Step-by-Step Mentorship Program. So to become a successful CFO advisor, you need clients. None of this matters unless you can get clients. So upon joining, you'll get immediate access to our marketing systems that will show you step-by-step how to get clients, and we guarantee it, by the way. There are multiple systems to choose from. Simply pick one system, follow the training and playbooks to get at least 3 CFO clients. Once you get 3 clients from one system, you could add on another system to get more clients or just continuing the working the first system. It's up to you. The bottom line is that we'll be by your side. That's why it's a mentorship program the entire time to ensure that you get the clients. And by the way, our marketing systems do not require you to cold call, use social media, or paid ads. In fact, we guarantee that you'll get at least 3 CFO clients within your first year membership as long as you follow the directions as outlined in the program or your money back. Also, upon joining, you'll get immediate access to our turnkey system in a box that will show you step-by-step how to provide a CFO service that not only gets results for your clients, meaning they're going to generate positive cash flow, but will keep your clients engaged with you for years, meaning that you don't have to keep going out and looking for new clients. You'll keep the same clients over year after year after year. This is a turnkey system that includes all the training, the templates, the guides, and other tools you'll need to start offering a CFO service that not only gets results for your clients, but will also allow you to increase your income while reducing your workload. It is a perfect opportunity to answer Laura's question in the chat. What does your product delivery look like using a certain app or Excel? So in our program, we're a step-by-step mentorship program. We're teaching you a methodology, and we're providing you Excel-based tools to accomplish the methodology. So we're not selling software. We're selling a methodology. You can use our tools. You can create your own tools, but we're selling you methodologies and systems. And then we're giving you mentors to help you actually do it. So that you go out and land 3, 5, 10, 20, however many CFO clients you want, where you're charging on average $2,000 a month. That is our job, to help you get there. So I hope that helps, Laura. So we don't just train you and provide the systems. We work with you every step of the way to ensure you get results. You'll get hands-on guidance from our CFO mentors, access to our tools and playbooks to help you get results, and you'll immediately be part of our vibrant community of other financial professionals. We have a little bit more than 500 people in our program right now. And this includes all access on day one to all of our practical training on how to get clients, provide the service, keep clients, grow your firm, manage your firm. Systems for everything. We've turned everything into playbooks. So step-by-step playbooks, so you know exactly what to do. Real mentors to turn to. We have 21 mentors in our program right now. 100% access to all of our tools and templates on day one. You'll get access to a weekly mastermind group where you'll meet with a handful of other CFOs led by a couple of mentors, where you'll discuss ideas and help each other overcome challenges and hold each other accountable. And then each month we do a live deep dive into specific topics to help you hone your craft. And then also we invite outside experts to come in and lead various workshops on a regular basis to help you get better at growing a CFO advisory practice. By the way, I did mention the money back guarantee, but just to show you exactly what that means, we guarantee that you'll get at least 3 CFO clients within your first year membership, as long as you follow the directions as outlined in the program. So if you charge $1,000 a month, this is a $36,000 guarantee, and our program is a fraction of this $36,000, by the way. If you charge $2,000 a month, which is the average that our members are charging, that's $72,000 guarantee. And if you charge $3,000, it's a $108,000 guarantee. You get the idea. Meet Becky. She says, using the systems that the CFO project equipped me with, I reduced my workload by 75%, and I increased my income by 50%. Jamel, I've been a part of many groups. I've never seen the success I've seen with the CFO project. In less than 6 months, I've added more than 100 grand in contracts. Ryan, he was an employed accountant when he started with us. Since joining the CFO project, it took me only 8 months to leave my day job. And 2.5 months since leaving, I've already doubled what I was making. All right, so here, if this is of interest to you, here's your next step. The next step is to join one of our enrollment advisors on a right fit call. It is not a sales call. The whole point is to see if you're a right fit for our program and if we're a right fit for you. So this is a 30-minute Zoom call where we'll show you exactly how we'll help you start a CFO advisory service. You can either start it from scratch or add it to your tax or bookkeeping firm in our Done With You mentorship program. You'll also learn how our program works, the investment options available to you, and our money back guarantee. So to join one of our upcoming right fit calls, click the link below. I think Jane just put it in the chat, and just choose a day and time that works for you. So when you click that link, you'll see a short form. We want to get to know you a little bit, and then you'll see some days and times. Just pick a day and time that works for you, and we'll get on a 30-minute Zoom call. It's a live call, and we'll go through everything with you. This is not a sales call. We're not going to ask you to join on this call. It's truly a right fit call to see if you're a right fit for us and we're a right fit for you. All right. So if you have any questions, please put them in the chat, and I would like to reserve the rest of the time for any questions, or just book a call and we'll answer your questions on the right fit call. Lisa asked, can the course be used as educational training for an existing bookkeeping firm? Oh, absolutely. I mean, probably about 60% of the people that join our program already have an existing bookkeeping or tax firm, and they are adding this service on to their existing firm. And so the either the owner or somebody in the firm in the practice joins the CFO project. They learn, and then they either teach what the methodologies to people on their team, or they just have their partner or the other team members join the CFO project and learn themselves. But this is a way for you to train yourself and your team on how to provide a CFO service to small and medium-sized business owners. All right. Any other questions that I can answer for you? Please put them in the chat. Otherwise, just click the link and book a right fit call with us. All right. Well, I'm not seeing any more questions. Jane, thank you so much for the invite and allowing us to speak and show everybody how to become a CFO to small businesses.
Thank you so much for joining us, Adam. This was really helpful. I've been watching the whole time, and this is just so fascinating, talking with so many accountants and CFOs as I do, hearing what you're talking about, discussing like the differences between them, and especially selling to businesses. What you said about, just being a drop in the bucket for like a larger construction company.
Right.
It's very relatable, I think.
Yeah, we have a lot of people say, well, there's no way I could charge, $2,000 a month. I could barely get clients to pay $500 a month for my bookkeeping service. And there's usually one of two problems with it. The reason why they're saying that is because usually one of two things. The first is the bookkeeper or accountant saying that has an imposter syndrome. It's a mindset thing. They don't think that they can charge that much because they don't think they're worth that much.
Yeah.
The second thing is they're usually dealing with very small businesses. If you could barely get a client to pay you $500 for a bookkeeping service, it's a small business. This does not work well for very small. And I don't want to offend any business owners, but non-legitimate businesses like life coaches and Etsy store owners. This is not a business. CFO services is not great for them, but there are millions of businesses in that sweet spot doing between $500,000 and $5 million annual revenue. I mean, you drive down any major road in your town and you'll see businesses that desperately need something like this. Dentist office, restaurants, roofing companies. They are ran by people who are overwhelmed and scared and insecure in their ability to run a successful business. But the business they have has to work.
Yeah. So
if you could come along and show and demonstrate that you'll help them have a successful business, they're going to pay attention to what you have to say. And $2,000 a month is peanuts.
Yeah. And not only that, I feel like even those Etsy businesses, the ones that are small, the ones that wouldn't be a fantastic fit necessarily for you, what you said about relationship marketing, they don't need to be the right people. They might know of a business
Absolutely.
that is needing somebody. So even if you are doing bookkeeping for a smaller client, you could still pitch them and say, listen, I'm looking to offer more business services. It might not be the right fit for you, but you've worked with me. Do you know of anyone with a business in this situation who could use my services, who could use this additional push on their end, right? Because that's really what it comes down to. And I know a lot of accountants, that's the kind of relationship they have with those small business clients, right? So what you said about relationship building really resonated with me there too.
Excellent. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So there's always an opportunity somewhere, I feel like, and this really just broke down how to grab that opportunity with both hands.
Yeah. I call it I sort of joke that this is the Tasmanian devil approach, the cartoon, Tasmanian devil just kicks up enough dust, you're going to get clients. I still have clients from dust that I've kicked up like years and years ago. I still get them to this day because of all the activity over the past several years, the relationship building and marketing systems and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, no more questions have come in. I guess that puts us at just about the 50-minute mark. So that's, I think, a great time for us to call it if there are no more else. Otherwise, I'll make sure everybody visit the link. It's in the chat. It's on the screen, and book your right fit call, because it sounds like there's a lot of opportunity here that you could be grabbing for 2026.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you so much, Jane. And thank you everybody for listening over the past hour. Hopefully we'll talk soon.
Yeah, hopefully. All right. Have a lovely rest of your day, and thanks everyone.